Hi, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming back to you for episode 206. I almost said episode 2006.
Well, that would be like just commenced.
Yeah, it would be.
Previous.
2006
yeah,
was
2006
was not a great year for me. That was a year before I came down here. Oh, my life was fucking falling apart. I was in great shape.
Well, thank goodness it's actually 2000. Sorry.
I got you.
206.
Boned again. Well, we're going to talk about, you want to get boned up the ass. Boned up the ass. That'll be the episode.
Boned up the ass. Okay, so
we're talking about timeshares.
Weird real estate stuff.
Okay, yeah, and one thing,
Weird.
and I usually mentioned that during the break, and I said, wow, I just remember I was, for years, I always try to figure out what is the attraction of timeshares. And whenever anybody told me that, I go, so you're locked into some place to go on a vacation. Not enough so you'd want to buy a home there, so you get a share of a time you have to go each year, no matter what. But people say, oh, it's really great. You could trade with other people with timeshares. You got timeshare associations where you can go to Milan, Italy. You can go to Marseille, France. And so your fucking place in Gulfport, Louisiana, right? Your timeshare in Gulfport, Louisiana, you're going to get a timeshare in Dubrovnik. You're going to trade with someone in Dubrovnik?
Right.
I don't think so. And on the Adriatic coast, I don't think you're going to fucking get it.
They're not going to want to go.
And they did it for years. They did it from the 70s until the financial, the last timeshare reached its height in 2008. One of the places I worked, Gilbert's Resort, they were building a timeshare resort. And I thought, now, this is where I was underestimating how they tried to sell the properties. I always said they tried to sell them at, like, I was being conservative, 250% of. Oh. So let's say the property's worth that if you sold it, you made a profit, it was $100,000, right?
Right.
They would sell it at get $250,000 for the $100,000 property, and get them to pay all the maintenance and stuff like that for it. It'd be like a condo. It's like a condo times 2.5. Yeah. Well, it was actually condo times 5. Yeah. It was a condo times 5.
Crazy.
It was total.
And you know how they would sell it to you?
Butt fuckery.
It's cheaper.
The secret butt fuckery.
It was cheaper every month to pay your timeshare bill than it was for you to spend a hotel in, that same area. Or
if you want to go to the same fucking place every year.
Right. But who wants to go to the same place every year?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you
go to travel,
do that, okay, great. Then you have a house.
I mean, people just get them. People get their houses and then they rent them out. You got an Airbnb and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So they were doing it, and then all of a sudden, I hear these crazy things. So one of my customers come in, and she tells me how people pay like $50,000-$60,000 for these things.
Yeah,
and I go like this. Like, it's oh my God! Mortgage. So if that's 25, that's like they're getting $1 million for a piece of property. These people for a piece of property that may be worth $125,000, $200,000, right? Yeah. They're getting so much money for it, and then they're getting maintenance fees for it and shit like that, and they're done the rest of their lives. The rest of their lives, they got to pay it, and the debt goes on after you're dead. It goes to your heirs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have there's a companies that get people out of it, right? There's timeshare. You hear about timeshare litigation, all that stuff. But I go, well, how do you get people out of it? I mean, I always thought like maybe some company would buy it and say, I'll just buy the property if I can get all the people to kick in their timeshares, and I'll give them the percentage of what their actual property's worth. Yeah, you lost the $75,000 you put in there, but here's $20,000, and oh no, that's not how they do it at all. You don't get anything. You don't get anything when you get out of timeshare. What they do, and this is this particular company, they pay somebody with shitty credit history that isn't ever going to dream of getting better credit history. They pay them like $500, and they put their name on the paper. They transfer ownership. They transfer ownership, and I go, well, how the fuck does that help? I mean, they get $500. I mean, they're going to have to pay that the next month or whatever. They're going to pay for like $5,000 the next year. And they go, oh, they don't pay. They just go in arrears and then they foreclose on it. And then the people the great thing about it is the people that own the fucking timeshare unit, the whole complex,
right,
they get fucked. Now, the people that just get, sign off and get the $500 and they go buy their Oxycontin or shit like that or whatever, crystal meth, because they have shitty. I mean, they'll prove virtually anybody for a timeshare. That's what it turns out. You have this shitty thing. They'll just go, I don't give a fuck. Like I have shitty credit and stuff like that. But what happened is right at the time they're ready to get clean and stuff like that, and they'll go say, you got this fucking timeshare coming at you like 3-4 years later. And you go, oh man, it was just clean. I guess I'll go and buy a little more crystal meth.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? It's just like a fucking circle of bullshit that people do trying to fuck people over. Fucking people over. That's what humans do sometimes. Right. Not everyone. Obviously not everyone. But the ones that do it on such a grand scale. The 3 or 2, let's say 2% of the people. Or maybe even 1%. They try to fuck over as many people as they can possible. So because they gotta go and touch upon everyone so they can get a couple live ones, right, so they can get them and so they can make their profit. So it's like less than 1 in 100. Less than 1 in 100. I would venture that. I would venture that people have no scruples and say, well, this is how I'm going to make money. Just like fucking people that are bill collectors. So hey, listen, you collect this stuff, you're going to get to pay. This is a great way to make money. I'm telling you, it's a great way to make money. I had a discussion with someone about you saw the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, right? Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yep.
There was an article written, his daughter, when he was kind of lionized in it. It made him look pretty good. Like he was a guy that was seduced by high income and wealth and all this stuff and did this thing. It kind of made him look somewhat sympathetic. His daughter wrote a really big story, and she says when he got out of jail after doing all that shit, he used her identity and fucked over her credit history. And she became responsible for it. And she's trying to explain, please don't lionize my father. He's a total dick.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, and then one of the guys I'm talking to, I'm telling him how to go like this. Well, I kind of admire what... Fuck you. You have kids?
You're right. Okay, so
yes,
that makes me think of 2 things. First of all, I was talking about weird real estate, right? Like my house is on the market. Right?
Yes.
Right now. I'm currently listed.
Yes.
And then you read all of these hints and pointers. Right? Like, of course, when a real estate agent wants to show your property, you're not supposed to be here. Right, because of course they're afraid that you're going to say something that will ruin your sale. Right.
Watch out for the big fucking rats outside.
Right, like or
the meth house.
Horrible neighbors. Right. Yeah. Like, why do you want to leave? Why do you want to move 6 blocks away? Why do you want to move a mile and a half?
Well, there's
away?
Cannibals right over here.
Well, I mean, who? Yeah, because that's what I'm going to say.
The Satanists? You mean the Satanists across the street? They're really nice.
I'm not going to say anything that's going to F up my own sale.
Yeah.
First of all.
Well, you're a salesperson. You're financier. You're
right,
smart.
I'm not
you're smarter
stupid.
than the average bear.
Maybe.
I mean, average real estate agent?
But here's the thing. You read all of the disclaimers. You read all of the stuff. I mean, do you realize that when they have open houses in your property, that they actually warn you to hide all of your valuables, to put them in a safe? Take your guns, take your jewelry, take everything.
Well, you shouldn't have guns out if you have an open house.
Well, no, but I mean, to not leave them even in a drawer.
You shouldn't.
Because what happens is that they will have, like, say, an open house, and there will be 7 or 8 people that come in, and one of them or 2 of them will pretend like they're a broker or pretend like they're a real estate agent.
That's exactly what I would do.
And they bring their freaking people in here, and they distract your agent, who is the only one here. And they go through your drawers, and they go through your jewelry box, and they go through all your stuff, and they steal everything you have. Now, mind you, I sold when I bought my very first house, I was
what do you assume? Are you assuming most people are reliable and fair and trustworthy?
I am assuming that.
That is ridiculous.
Because you know what? I would like
if you invite strangers into your house.
But here's the thing. When I sold my very first house, I bought my first house when I was 18 years old, and I sold it when I was like 22 and moved to a bigger house. I, of course, followed every single rule because my real estate agent told me to. And I had this thing about folding every single piece of my delicates. Right?
Your underwear.
Absolutely. So I would fold my bras, my underwear, and the matching sets, and they would be right next to each other in my drawer.
Oh, really?
And this was when I was very, very, very anal. My children, thank goodness, helped me get over that because I was very organized.
You know, Abby's very clean herself, but that is the one thing she just tosses in the drawer.
I don't. I still don't. I still fold them all.
Her little floss type underwear.
Yes.
I swear to God, I'm looking, I go, what the hell is this when we first started living together?
I still fold them. But I used to be at a point in my life, earlier in my life, where even all of my hangers, everything on the hangers have to be in the same direction. And I
the opening on the hanger be in one direction?
The hanger has to be in one direction.
And the shirt open to it?
Yes. And in order of size and color.
Okay.
Because that's just how I was.
Okay, Joan Crawford.
Right. I know. A little bit weird.
No wire hangers.
No wire hangers.
Yes.
Be serious. Anyway, I had shown my house, or the real estate agent, when I was selling my first house, had shown my house. And when I came back from after the show, because they ask you to leave for like 2 or 3 hours. And I had 3 little kids. So it was very difficult for me to leave my house for 2-3 hours and find something to do.
Wow.
So I would just leave and take the boys with me. And then I would come home, and I was doing laundry when I got home. And I went into my underwear drawer, and all of my bras and underwear were misplaced and unwound. Like, I folded them perfectly, cup into cup. And, you know, my little tiny panties folded perfectly with the little strings sticking out the side. You know, like, I knew where my stuff was. Mm-hmm. And I told the real estate agent, I was like, you know, who the heck were these people that came to see my house? Because this pervert went through my panty drawer.
You know what?
This guy went through my panty drawer.
I know. Wait, hold on a second. Wait, you may be correct. Can I explain another possibility?
Uh-huh.
They were looking for money.
Possibly.
I mean, no, I don't go like this. I mean, it could have been a pervert because I don't think the one thing I don't believe, I don't think, well, maybe they do. Perverts do a quick grab. I think it's a quick grab is for money.
Now, mind you,
it's money.
This is also in 1999 in Minneapolis. Okay, not even outside of Minneapolis. I never lived.
But who the fuck would leave money in their drawer if they're going to have people in their house? So it must have been a pervert. Yeah.
So I get a notice from her like 10 days later that this particular couple, it was a couple, wanted to have a second showing. Well, second showings are amazing because that means you're probably going to get an offer, right? And I told her, I said, I am not comfortable with this guy in my house and I want to stay home. She said, no, that's not how this works. You don't stay here. Because we're afraid that you're going to say something. We're afraid that you're going to be like, oh yeah, well that window actually rotted and fell out.
Oh wait, right? You can't masturbate when you're looking through my underwear drawer.
So you know what I did?
What? Put a camera in there?
No, I left a note. It was before you had cameras.
Oh, you put it on there?
I left a note on a piece of paper. I ripped it out of a notebook and I wrote, "Stay the fuck out of my panty drawer, you sick fuck." Right? And I wrote that down. And mind you, this is 99, so I'm like 24 years old. Mm-hmm. I left that note in there on the very top of my panty drawer. And when I came back home from the second showing, that note was crumpled up and thrown on the floor. And of course, they never put in an offer on my house because I caught that dirty motherfucker going through my panty drawer.
Why did he crumple it up?
He was mad because I caught him. He was mad, right? So
why would you stop and read the note?
I took a picture of it and I sent it to my real estate agent. Oh, I mean, if you opened my drawer, you'd have seen it. It was a full 8x11 piece of paper, 8x10 piece of paper. So I told her, I said, I will never let you show my house again without me being here.
What she said?
So she agreed with me, and she said, okay, that's absolutely fine. From now on, I will never show the house without you being here. And like 3 days later, I sold it. So it was no big deal. But now that my house is on the market again, and I'm in a much different part of the country than I used to be, I'm like going through all of my stuff, and I'm taking like all of my jewelry, all of my stuff, and putting it in the safe. The safe is hidden. Nobody can get in it but me. Like, it's really, really like weird to, like have strangers walk through your house because you still live here. You know?
Funny you said that. I'm mowing my lawn with my fucking 18th century technology lawnmower.
Oh, really? It's like with does it have the wheels and the thing with the spins and the blades?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's my workout. I went to I worked out 2 hours today.
You're looking kind of buff.
Am I looking buff?
Yeah.
I lost some weight because my daughter's been vegetarian and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but this could lend itself to your story. I come home, I get shit done today. I went to the store, I went to the shopping, I let Roxy out. She did her business and stuff. And I said, you know what? I could have gone for a couple hours sleep. I said, you know what? I'm going to cut the lawn. And you know what? I could very easily buy an electric powered lawnmower. We don't have that big a lawn. But it's such a freaking chore to use this one. But I like doing it because it's exercise.
Yeah.
I'm doing this exercise. And I'm tired. I'm sweaty. I'm getting acclimated to the heat. I got to sit down a couple times.
I was going to say, you're not even sweaty right now.
Oh, no. See, I work in the AC. And you know what happens to people that work in AC all the time, right? They can't fucking handle the heat. So I go out and work in the heat. Acclimates me to heat. I drink plenty of water. I drink a shitload of water and stuff. So I told you I checked out the catch, and I'm out there. I'm in the shade. It's 90 degrees. It's breezy. And I'm sweating a little. The sweat running down my leg, but I'm not soaked. I was in this one.
Yeah.
And I go, and one of my coworkers, Katie, comes up and says,
I love Katie.
Yeah. I'm doing a sound check. I'm sitting there, and she says, what are you doing? And godly, it's hellhole. And I go, it's not a hellhole. It's beautiful. It's a little warm. I'm sweating a bit. Right. And I think we talk about these things, and I'll get back to the other thing again. We talk about these things, we forget about it. But I get acclimated to it and all that stuff. I'm cutting my lawn. I'm doing a thing. I do the trimmer, which is electric one. I know that's not necessarily clean heat all the time. I mean, clean fuel all the time, but it's not gas powered. I don't want to contribute to it. I'm trying. It's my thing. This is what I do. Don't hate on me for it. So I go and work out. I get a great workout, and I'm ready. Actually, right in the beginning, I'm stringing up my trimmer, and this guy stops at my neighbor's house. My neighbor has these. I think it's called an enduro racer because it has this beautiful Camaro. Beautiful. It's not like pristine, but it looks like it's a racer, and it's on a trailer. And this guy stops his car. He gets out real quick, goes into the thing, and I recognize the guy. And I remember him as being a really nice guy. I mean, I kind of trust him. And he goes into the yard. He looks under he looks under the canvas where the car is under on the trailer. And then he picks up something. Then he walks in the back, and I'm just looking. And he doesn't notice me because I'm being quiet. I don't have a powered mower going or anything like that. I'm just sitting there watching him and going, well, I'm ready. What thing do you know about me? I don't take any shit.
No.
And then when there's something going wrong, I'm fucking right in it.
Yep.
I'm fucking right in it.
No,
I'm ready to go like this.
in.
If I seen a guy kicking open a door or something like that, I'd be like fucking right over there, dragging the guy out of there.
Yep.
But I'm watching the guy and I go, yeah, but this is not the guy that does it. And he goes in the back, and I see him go in the back, and I go, I can't believe this guy doing it. But I'm going to just keep it. I'm going to keep my mouth thinking. I'm watching. I'm standing there. He comes out. He looks at me. I wait to me. Hey, how you doing? He looks at me. How you doing? He gets in his car. Then he backs up across the street into my driveway, and he rolls down the window, and he goes and says, you know, I'm part owner of this vehicle. I'm just making sure the guys we're getting ready for a race and just making sure they're doing some work. I go, yeah, okay. And then you know what I thought of? The Grinch. When Cindy Lou Who caught him, he goes, well, I'm just checking these lights out because there's one bulb out, so I'm going to take everything back and do that. And I said, what do you think? I'm a fucking idiot? And then I realized in the end I'm overreacting. I didn't do any of that. I said, hey, take care. Have a good day. I realized he didn't take it. He took some plastic tubing. And so Abby came home and I said, hey, yeah, there's one guy. I want to go over and talk to this guy to make sure it's him. She goes, oh, do you have gray hair? He's in their yard all the time. They know him. And they go, oh, God, thank God.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know. I said, listen, I'm keeping an eye on you. Keep a fucking eye on your house.
Yeah. Hey, when the neighbors over here had, like, friends that they let stay, and they showed up here, and it was loud, and there was crazy people that we were not used to. Tyler, my husband, obviously, he texted her right away. He was like, who are these people? And
there's fucking blow-up dolls and dildos and all that stuff?
No, they were just, like, a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, small children, which there's not a whole lot.
Fucking small children? Scumbags. Okay, let's take a little break right now.
All right.
I got to take a pee break. I got to urinate. Yeah, me too. Oh, you too?
Whether you're one of our regular visitors to the Florida Keys or you can't wait to visit for the first time, you'll want to stay up to date on everything that's going on in the Florida Keys. To learn all the secrets, tips, and the stuff we don't talk about to anyone but each other, visit 43keys.com. Sign up for our newsletter and never miss any of the exciting things we have planned for you. That's 43 Keys. The number 4, the number 3, keys.com.
Hey, we're back with boner tools. Yes, I went. We had Jenna and Tyler are remodeling their house in lieu of its sale.
Well, yes. I mean, we just had one room left to do, so we went a little overboard and made sure it was perfect. But, yeah.
I wouldn't leave it the way it is.
Most of those boner tools are actually my tools.
It's beautiful.
He bought them for me for Father's Day.
But they have this beautiful. They got so far. They got for the nicest tiki hut I've seen. Well, connected to a house.
It's not actually connected. It just sits up against it. You can't connect it legally.
Okay, what I'm saying, well, it looks like it's it appears as if it's incorporated.
It has a dormer for anybody that's construction savvy.
A dormer?
That's what that is right there. The peak that goes over the walkway. That's called a dormer.
Okay.
So therefore, if you ever walk outside while it's raining, you don't have to get wet until you get under the tiki. You're completely covered.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm telling you, this is right on the canal. We are. I know. There's bars there's a bunch of hotels here in the Keys that don't have a nicer tiki bar than this. I'm just looking around at it. Wow. Yep. So, we're talking about boner tools.
We were talking about boner tools.
I walked in there. We took a break. We took our break. It was 20 minutes in. After we were talking about
my favorite one, it's right there. See that one? That's a compound miter slider saw.
Which doubles as a table saw and everything.
No, it's not. I have my table saws in the shed. Table saws if you want to do a rip cut.
That
is a compound slider miter.
Wow.
So basically, if you wanted to put like a 45, a 33, any of the angles on any piece of wood.
You couldn't do a rip cut with it?
You could not do a rip cut with that, no. Not unless you could if it was less than 12 inches long.
Oh, okay.
But
12 inches is a lot.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't do that, though. Because you'd be more accurate if you held it up against the fence of a table saw. But I like to work with wood.
Holy shit, yeah. Some major tools going on here.
So, yeah, we have lots of tools. But we're both very handy people, thank goodness. In fact, we renovated this entire house ourselves. The only thing that we paid for outsourced was this tiki that you're sitting under. But none of the accoutrements.
I've done a limited share of renovation, drywall, carpentry, and stuff like that. Not super skilled, but handy.
Yes.
Handy, somewhat handy.
Well, you know what, though? You're a big guy. And you have, like, strong arms and strong hands. So that automatically makes you handy. Because all you have to do is listen to somebody that's little tiny like me.
Yeah.
Say, this is what you need to pick up, put down, nail it here, nail it there.
Yeah. I remember. Oh,
but I'm a math nerd, so I'm good with the angles and the...
Yeah. I'm telling you, these things here, they're pretty cool over here. I see you had your shutters. You had your shutters ready here.
Yes. Well, some of them are up, and my husband is about to go out of town. So he left up the ones that are difficult.
Yeah.
Because I'm 4'11", Right.
So wait, those aren't difficult right there?
Those are the lesser of the difficult ones. He put the ones up that are real high. That's hard for me to actually, because when you put up the storm shutters, you have to put them in a track on the top and the bottom, and then you have to screw in the nuts at the bottom to hold them up.
You got to be careful of your nuts.
So if you have real high nuts and you're a little like me and you can't reach high nuts, then you have to take a ladder to every window. So he put up all the high ones.
Okay.
In preparation for Dorian, that was supposed to whack us, but it didn't.
Yep.
So, but seeing that he's going out of town and we have some activity out in, the Atlantic right now, he's going to leave up the ones that are too difficult.
Yeah, we're just hoping once again that we get bypassed, just like I guess it's similar to the Hebrews in Egypt when what I'm alluding to?
I think so.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay, when the angel of death is coming over Egypt to take the firstborn
Passover
son.
Yes.
And that there we go. The door shut. That was when we hope that it would just pass over us.
Yes.
Wow. Actually, I think it's lovely when it's breezy here in Atlanta.
I think it is too.
It's sultry. The temperatures. I guess it's
although going
in the
out
mid
on the
to low 80s.
Oh, but see, you don't boat, you don't fish.
Yeah.
But I boat. I fish. My boat's right there. But the going out on the bay right now would not be very comfortable. Yeah, it's very rough. It's very rough out there right now. Yeah, especially with the amount of winds that we have right now. Very gusty.
Well, we're almost on the water here. We're right next to the
we
canal.
are on the water, but we're in a canal.
We're near, near its tides coming up. One of our local resorts.
Seeing that last week, the tide levels actually came up over that neighbor's dock directly across from us. It was up over their dock.
Over their dock. How far?
Yeah, the water, maybe an inch.
On that lower.
Yeah, on the lower portion of the dock. Yeah. Yep, because with that, what we would call that here is a seawall. And we have a lower seawall and an upper seawall.
Yep.
But there was over there lower. It didn't go over ours, but it went over theirs. That side.
If you come in, let's do a little history of the thing. Adam's Cut was, I think it was in the 70s or 60s.
It was a very, very
51?
long project. Yeah. And they did half and half and met up in the middle.
Really? Yeah. Oh, because of cutting through the limestone?
They had to. They had to cut through.
Right near US 1, you'll see on the north side, is there someone have they build in a little room into the seawall there, into the coral?
A room?
It looks like there's a wall there and stuff like that.
Well, there are. Yeah.
Built into the side?
Yeah.
Oh, really? They cut it all out and stuff like that?
They cut it out. There's a lot of properties through Adams Cut, which is actually, it's actually called, Adams Waterway, but we call it the Cut.
How would they?
Yeah, Marvin V. Adams Waterway.
Yeah, how would they seal that up? Because that's kind of porous.
They actually sealed it off from one side to the other like a dam. So they dammed.
No, I'm talking about that in that room. I know how they do that. They did that with the Panama Canal.
Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah.
Thing.
But a much smaller project. Really.
A much smaller project.
That took about the same amount of time.
Really did. But, you have to cut through,
nowadays
coral.
I know. Nowadays, it would take 8 months.
Possibly. Yeah. Well,
I mean, using what the kind of tools they have now to be able to break up.
They have boner tools.
Boner tools, yeah, to break them up.
Really big boner tools.
I know. Do you be able to break it all up, blast it?
Oh, Tyler is talking about the. Yeah.
What?
So Marvin.
Just at $50,000 to dredge the waterway. He spent it out of his own pocket to that waterway from Bayside to Ocean. He owned the 10.
Tyler is talking about owning the 10 properties that actually. 10 acres. The 10 acres that lead up to the edge of Adams Waterway, Adams Cut, and that he spent his own money. Marvin Adams spent his own money to actually make that cut.
Oh, you're about to cut something right now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna. Hey,
right.
Listen. Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
We got one of the bonus. Don't cut your hand. Jesus Christ! You put your fingers close to that.
Yeah, that's it.
Holy shit!
That was it.
There you go. Kind of exciting.
Yeah. But see,
Oh, man. Look at that.
I have to show you how that works someday.
Oh, well, I've been in a... I mean, I imagine... I think I'd be able to... I would take a great amount of time to figure it out, how to lock it. Yep. Man. I can make some steps, a shed, a go-kart,
You could do staircases.
staircases,
You could make a shed. You could put up the privacy wall, like
a nice
up
tree
against
house.
Back. You could make a tree
I still, as a kid, you know what? I understand how there's a fucking TV show out there for people with tree houses and stuff like that.
That guy is cool.
I know.
He's
There was
really
that, you know,
nice.
I lived on Marlin Avenue in Key Largo, and next to me there was a beautiful tree house that was abandoned.
Oh,
It was a beautiful tree house. It was big. It was about 12 feet off the ground.
that's so cool.
It was at least, it looked to be about 80 square feet.
That's big, though.
80 square feet, yeah. It looked like you sleep in there and stuff like that. And someone said, holy shit. And it was on a property that it must have been the whole property was owned by the one, and then they split it off and sold it. And then this is what happened in the Keys because more people, they parceled out all
Did you
the
see the
land.
video of the guy that built an indoor treehouse for his kids?
No.
It was really cool. It's on Facebook somewhere. I watched the whole thing.
Is it a real tree?
It's all made from real trees. And he basically made this cool, like he took his entire guest room or like maybe third bedroom
Yeah.
and made an entire treehouse room out of that whole third bedroom, like a playroom for his little
But
kids.
part of
that
it,
were, like,
part of the treehouse is being able to look outside your treehouse.
well, but in the climates where you can only be outside playing for maybe 5 months out of the year, it was a way for his kids to enjoy the treehouse all year long.
Okay.
It was really cool. The guy did.
Okay, well, we were talking about earlier, we were talking about real estate and all that stuff, and we talked about another one about corporate malfeasance. The dive boat accident in California.
Just have
None of negative stuff like that. And with the motherfuckers, as soon there was a obscure shipping law from the 1800s,
yes.
that if you file suit
Before them.
before the first people claim it, that you can disclaim any responsibility for paying for wrongful death.
Not necessarily. What it was is that it said that this old I believe it was like 1865 maritime law, something like that. Don't quote me on the exact year, but it basically said that the owner of the ship, because most of the time back then the owners
Yeah.
of the ships were not the captains of the ship.
Yes.
Right? So therefore, in this case, exactly, the owners were not captaining the ship.
No.
So what they were saying is that if you file suit before anyone else files suit, you can claim that your liability limit should be equal to the value of the vessel,
Yes.
which therefore the vessel value is at absolute zero because it's at the bottom of the ocean in 50 feet of water and completely burned and gone. But the 34
But the only
lives-
thing to make it valid, if there was any procedures not followed that were part of
Right.
their procedures as a
But
crew.
the vessel had been inspected and
no,
passed.
it was inspected. That doesn't mean that they had a procedure,
Well,
right?
right. But it had been inspected and passed. So as any other attorney, and I read the article about that as well, but every single maritime attorney would have recommended the owners do the exact same thing as what they did and file it in that said to limit liability due to the value of the vessel. And it's commonplace. That doesn't mean they're not going to get sued for loss of life for every single person that was on board that boat. It just means that it was normal procedure for an attorney to have them file that claim.
I know. I realize that. I'm thinking as a person, as a normal person, I would be ready to get out of the business after that happened. If I'm the operator of the Conception, I think it was called.
Yes, conception.
The Conception, that 34 people died, burned to death, that at this point, I'm done running dive boats. It's it. I'm out of it. I'm done. And I'm sorry. If you had to, how would you sell that?
Well,
at that point, how would you sleep at night? Not that you're responsible, but you created a business. The Conception became one of your boats. It took a trip out, and on that trip, 34 people died. For some part of it, whether you're liable, no, maybe not, but you're going to feel somewhat responsible.
Well,
because you created that. Imagine if I created a roller coaster. The architect of the roller coaster, I think it was I don't know if it was in Jackson, New Jersey, but one of the Six Flags sites, there was a person that lost a hat during a ride on a roller coaster, and they went and they snuck into the roller coaster after they gotten off to retrieve their hat, and someone, when the roller coaster came around, I think someone else's body part, their foot, maybe come in contact with their head, and they got decapitated. That's responsibility. I'll tell you, I can tell you some of these things. I have friends that are going this morning. This morning they went to Reno, Nevada for air races. You know about air races?
Yes.
And they're over an 8-mile course. And they said 3 years ago, a P-51, it's a Mustang, a vintage plane, the main fighter of the United States Army Air Corps during World War II.
Yes.
In the European theater. And there was a exhibition of this guy. He was in his 70s. He's flying it. And during one of his maneuvers, one of his controllers broke on, I think it's aileron, it's called, or something like that,
Yep.
that controls the...
Spin. Aileron controls your spin.
Well, this one controlled their pitch
Okay.
of the plane where it was coming in direction. And instead of going down, it went into a steep climb. And because of the gravity, the centrifugal force, he passed out. And it went up. And then when it started coming down, it started coming straight down. And a buddy of mine, Doug, and his wife, Debbie. Doug was a pilot. Debbie was a flight attendant one time. And he was up in the stands, and they had a premium seat area near the front. I don't know how that works with flying, but they said that plane was coming straight for them. And they were with another pilot and his wife, who used to be a flight attendant, and he threw his body on top of them. And that plane came down, and it came down so fast at 500 miles an hour. At a certain point, it moved a little because of the vagaries of the wind, and it hit about 100 feet away from the grandstands. It still killed 10 people, including the pilot. And one of the friends, one of the people they knew, saw a decapitated head roll in front of him after a hat, because all the parts that were flying around from this P-51. At that point, I thought, I'd be pretty much done with the air races. They are right now. What time is it now? It's 3 hours earlier there. It's about 5:43. The air races don't start today. They're over there and they're watching it. That's a passion.
Yeah.
After that, something like that happened so close to them. Doug thought he lost his wife. Doug thought, the way he explained to me, he thought he lost his wife, and they're still going back. I think they're grounded and worldly enough to realize that shit doesn't happen twice.
No, it doesn't. And I was just going to say, passion has one thing to do with it, but the other reason, and I'm not trying to
be able to get by that. Able to get that. Like if a stingray, like what happened to, what's his name? The alligator guy, the Australian guy?
Yeah.
Where he got pierced in the heart by...
Yeah, that's Steve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin. If you were with him, pretty sure that's not going to happen to you.
Yeah, well, most likely not. If it
No, I know it happened to him. It's not going to happen to you.
Well, here's the other thing, right? So, and I'm, by no way am I defending the people that own the conception and whatever else. But here's the thing: you have insurance.
I'd like to hear a good argument.
You have insurance for a reason. The insurance company is liable, not those people. The insurance company is the people that sent the inspectors out to make sure that that vessel was valid, and they claimed that that vessel was valid. So if there's a liability to be paid, it's not a personal liability on those people that own that boat. It's a liability that should be paid by the insurance company. And so what they did was right. They don't need to bankrupt themselves and ruin.
Oh, I 100% agree. It kind of sucks. It does suck that you have to go and do that.
Right, but
you have insurance.
But
that's why you have to
do that in order to keep your insurance company to hold their maximum level of liability, because that's what you paid for.
Oh no,
for
I
all
100%.
those years.
I 100%.
It's the same
but,
difference as if you had a car accident. If you had a car accident,
I know, I understand.
And even if it was your fault,
Jenna, what I'm saying is you got to convince everyone else. Where you and I see it. After you explain this stuff, after you and I, of course you and I can see it. It's a complex situation. But some people can't handle
have to explain it to anyone, because that's what insurance is for.
Jenna.
That's what insurance is
for.
No.
You can't explain. How do you explain to people when they go to a buffet, it's all you can eat? It's not all you and the person that didn't order the all can eat can eat.
Yeah, you can't.
They don't understand.
All you can eat to bring it home.
Yeah. You're trying to explain it to them.
The other thing is this.
They're same people. Aren't they the same people? Are they fucking same people?
Have you ever been in a car accident?
Yes.
But you kept driving?
No.
Absolutely, you kept driving. You still drive.
Oh, wait. I thought you meant I was in an accident and I drove, I left, remember?
No.
I'm not, you mean I was one of those hit and run.
You have been in a car accident before. Is that going to
Well, I wasn't in Wait a second. What I talked about was the catastrophic thing.
Okay.
If I was wanting, it's called PTSD. If you're in one, let's say you're in a helicopter and you come out and the helicopter comes in and the rotor drips down and the person gets out of the plane and the rotor dips down and decapitates someone. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a different view of getting on the helicopter next time.
Well, you know what? I will tell you that channel marker 65, just outside of Hammer Point, took out 7 of my ribs, put my pelvis out of place, and all of my front teeth.
Yeah.
I could barely move for weeks.
Yeah.
It does not prevent me from getting on that boat. In fact, I went past channel marker 65 on Sunday, and I Snapchatted it, and I flicked it off the whole time.
Listen,
if it's your passion, you got to keep doing it.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, well, I'm just, hey, listen, I'm just making an observation, Jenna. Is it a possibility that people are affected by it? Yes. Is it a possibility they keep on doing it? Yes. Some people change. I'm not someone to judge whether someone stops doing something. Like if someone sees an escalator accident.
Does that mean you're never going to get on an escalator again?
Well, if there's an option, I might get on the elevator or take the steps.
Maybe. But you know what? That whole...
How about if you survived 9/11? Hey, let's go all the way to the top there. Yeah, I'm not fucking going up there again. I mean, there's certain things.
But why? What are the chances that way?
No, but you don't have to do it. If it's not a passion of yours and not a thing you have to do. I mean, just the thing. If you got to fly, if an accident, this is the reason why I spoke about a book called Freakonomics before. It's about the possibilities of like how people worry about shark attacks, plane crashes, home invasions, and things like that. It's a very low probability, and you shouldn't worry about these things that aren't going to happen to you.
Right, but like what you were getting to was, like the people that were on the Corinthian was
the conception.
The conception.
Corinthian leather was on Corinthian leather was the interior in. Oh God, I remember it.
No.
Ricardo Montalban. I'm trying to make it kind of fun. It was filled with Corinthian leather.
Ricardo Montalban was from.
Fantasy Island.
The plane.
Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
But no, there was a car. I'm not trying to change that. I'm sorry. But no, I was conflating that you had to go and file it. The imagery of it is not good. For you saying it, you have to do it.
Because
that doesn't make sense. And you know what? A lot of reports explain it that way. Actually, the reports explain it that way.
Right.
The reports explain it that way. But it still is a sad state of affairs.
It's absolutely sad.
That you have to go and say it and go and say, in a logical world, where logic rules, you have insurance, your car hits an oil slick, it goes out of control, it takes out a bus stop full of kids. The insurance takes care of everything.
Right.
And you don't say, hey, listen, there was a truck coming down there, the truck lost oil and stuff like that. And even if you're able to find it, whatever something, the insurance takes care of it and stuff like that. And you have to, someone's, in the U.S. system, we have to point to liability.
You're always going to point.
There's always liability. You're pointing a finger.
We're all guilt-filled. That's how it works.
It's just the way it is.
The difference is that you haven't heard anything about the families of those people getting upset and screaming whose fault.
We're not yet because they didn't start.
No,
you know what? Some of the people just got informed. There was a mother in Singapore or Japan that just found out yesterday.
Right. But those people were out there doing something recreational and they're doing something that they loved. And it was an unfortunate accident and it's horrible. It's horrible.
It was horrible death. They burned to death.
Absolutely. I mean, can you imagine a worse way to go? No.
No, right now. Hey, right now there's the criminal investigation to see if there's some procedure that was fine.
That's standard. They have to.
Yeah.
That's a U.S. Coast Guard certified captain. Just like
I'm not going to do an I told you so because we don't know what happened. If there was someone cooking, making chicken and it walked away, and the fire started in a galley. That's what he said. The fire started in a galley, and they thought it was some kind of electrical thing, maybe with some.
But if the fire started in the galley is below deck. None of the survivors, the crew people, were not down in the galley.
Well, one of the crew members could have been down there in the galley.
There was one crew member that was below deck. One.
Oh, you were going to find out with the investigation,
Well,
I guess.
that's because there was only one that passed.
Yeah.
There was only one that was down
It was
there.
a girl. It was one of the girlfriends of one of the other crew members.
No, it was the guy.
The guy said his girlfriend was down there. One of the guys.
Well, it might have been a girlfriend, but it wasn't a crew member. But the people that escaped were all crew and the captain. There was no actual patrons that survived. Yeah. They all passed.
It's going to be like the what was that Italian one?
Oh, the Concordia. Costa Concordia.
Costa Concordia.
But that guy went to prison because they had everything documented that they warned him. Even the people on shore.
Oh, he was going in to see his girlfriend or something like that?
You're getting to know he was trying to get close enough to wave at people that were on shore that knew him. I'm not kidding. I mean, it was awful. And he was sent to prison for his neglect because he was even told to reroute. You're getting too close to the shallows, and he didn't. He didn't listen to him. And the Costa Concordia went down, and all those people died, and he escaped. Now, mind you, there's that old adage, the captain always goes down with the ship. Well, that's not necessarily the truth.
You don't have to go down with the ship. Obviously, you don't have to go down the ship if you survive, if you got everyone else again.
If you can prevent anyone else's death, you need to do that.
You got to stay, yeah.
Before you leave.
Yeah.
But he just bailed.
Oh, my God. I don't know how you see it.
What these guys are saying now is that they're just looking at the captain of this other, of the Conception and basically trying to determine whether or not he bailed before he had a chance to try to go save anyone. But what they're saying... Oh,
I wouldn't second guess any of that stuff. There could be an investigation. It's got to be an investigation. They're screwed. They're screwed the rest of their lives. I mean, because they got to live with that. They got to. You were the captain of a boat where everyone died, and you were the captain.
You're never.
And whether you did anything at all that could have prevented it, that's going to be in your head. You're done. You're done.
You're done.
And there's no way that he's going to be doing that again.
I'm sure not. But the people that own the boat, right, or the people that filed the suit, they own multiple.
I know. I'm just suggesting, as a business model, that joy could be done.
It really could be.
It's over.
They are
I mean, they don't. I'm not suggesting they should be ruined. Not like that Purdue Pharma family that knew about the opioid crisis. That's a different liability.
I think they're already ruined because of this.
Oh yeah, they're ruined.
Let them protect a little bit of what they have.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not suggesting that. So you know what? I apologize. I apologize for coming in, but just the imagery of having to do that. because of our legal system is horrible.
Exactly, and that's what it is. It's not them.
It's horrible.
It's what they have to do.
But then again, you got to remember this. We always had this. We had this argument about the coffee thing with that old lady with the hot coffee.
The old lady with the hot coffee that said she didn't know it was hot.
Oh, wait a second. You got to study that a little longer. You got to study.
Is that the McDonald's coffee one?
No, yeah. There was a documentary made about it.
Okay.
And they had it in the procedures that the coffee had to be much hotter than it was in their manual. You got to listen to this.
Okay.
And you got to listen to the documentary sometimes.
I don't know enough
the big
about it.
prejudgment. The lady did not say the only reason they did it was to correct a procedural malfeasance of the corporation. You never see the burn. Never anyone shows the burn the lady got, and they weren't driving. They were parked off to the side when she was getting it, trying to put the lid on. Okay? You gotta see the documentary.
I don't know anything about it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing that because the way the corporations could get the public skewed to thinking, well, this is just fucking ridiculous. She worried that the coffee was hot. Well, no, it wasn't that. It was boiling hot. And if you ever fucking tried McDonald's coffee back in the 80s, when you try to drink it,
it was just too hot.
It burned your mouth.
Yeah.
My coffee's hot. I pour my coffee into I put my coffee into one of those Yeti cups.
Yeah.
And it's hot, but never enough to burn it. So for some reason, their heat plate was hotter. You couldn't drink their coffee for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's part of that. Then that's them on their part being lax on their SOP, which is the standard.
It was in their thing,
and
it was just being able to have to put sugar and thing. It's just a possibility that it was a very great possibility. It's not a right thing to do.
Right.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible, and she wasn't looking for that. That was something the jury put on to change a corporate policy.
Ah, gotcha.
To change a corporate, she wasn't suing for damages.
Right.
They were suing for medical costs,
right, yeah,
and stuff like that. And then the jury decided that they needed to do this to change the policy, and that's where the second part comes out and stuff. And then when you hear people say, "Well, you got to change the liability law," no,
right?
fuck,
Well, because
no, you
people
don't.
read what they want.
No, you have to read what they want. Well, you have to, and that's what we have with the opioid crisis
right.
in the United States. We're at 52 minutes.
That went by really fast.
We started out. What was it called?
This is we were winging it.
Totally butt fucked.
What?
Butt fucked.
Butt fuck?
Yep.
This is called butt fuck.
I mean not necessarily, but it was
episode 206.
Yeah, it could have been.
It could have been 2006.
You said it now.
And,
yes.
And then really? So this is butt fuck.
Effed up the butt.
Effed up the butt. I don't know.
No.
How about royally
no is
effed? Because a lot of the people we talked about today are just royally effed. Maybe at some fault of their own, and maybe none.
Royally effed. Send me a text, and so I remember this.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if I remember. I'm not saying I'm not messed up. I'm able to do the recording, so it's good. Okay. Well.
Good night, everyone, and thank you for listening to